All right, everybody, welcome back to Nebraska Hawks Nest. I'm here with number 95 himself, former defensive end for the University of Iowa, Drew Ott. How's it going, Drew?
Oh, not too bad.
That beard's looking pretty sweet, man.
Thank you. I even put oil in it for the interview, so really
Jeez.
classing things up.
You're fancy. Jeez. So what's been going on with you? We know you're helping run the family farm. Got a lot of things going on at home. Tell us a little bit about what you're up to right now and what all you guys are doing on your family farm.
Gotcha. Well, right now, I guess the last couple of years, just been back working on the farm and doing a little trucking, working with cows, working with crops, things like that, and staying pretty busy. You know, my mother just passed away this summer, so that was a big life-altering event, and kind of took time of my last 2 years, dealing with her sickness and whatnot. So now I'm just me and Dad are figuring out things on our own and starting there.
Well, I'm sorry to hear that, and I'm sure your dad's pretty grateful to have you home and have you close to help out on the farm, and it definitely seems like it's keeping you really busy. So,
oh yeah, me and him both like to stay pretty busy. So,
I wanted to ask you just to start out with. I haven't really seen anything about this on you with your recruiting process coming out of high school. Can you tell me what schools were really after you, what your thought process was during that whole entire recruiting process? And did they come knocking? If they did, when? And when you knew that Iowa was the place you wanted to be?
I guess going back, me in high school, and I really didn't even think about playing Division I. I thought I'd just play at the Huskers if I could and whatnot. And my high school coach, Jeff Ashby, he really helped me and pushed me to go to like summer camps and stuff. And, being back in high school and younger, I just wanted to drive my three-wheeler around all day and through pastures and drive to towns and stuff. And, I really wasn't motivated on that. I just wanted to lift weights to get skinny and press girls. And then, it took off that I was decent at football. So started pursuing that track. And then, from there, he got me into a couple camps, and then K-State was interested in me, and I think Oklahoma State. And those were pretty big. And then Nebraska and Iowa kind of called me Reese Morgan. And, he showed up one day, and I had no idea what was going on. And, Ferenz or whatever. And I couldn't pronounce the name and learned it was Ferentz. And, that opened up. And then, Nebraska switched to the Big Ten, and I knew I definitely wanted to try to beat them every year. So, that's what I was thinking as a younger kid. And then, I was sending all those people to the NFL, and, I was looking at the future and stuff. That's why you want to go to college, is to get set up and, have a brighter future. So the other two schools and my other two big ones, they really weren't doing that. I mean, they were, but not at the scale Iowa was and continues to do. So.
Yeah, that's something that Kirk and the staff really has down. I mean, it seems like every year when the Super Bowl comes up, they're always like number one, number two, and most amount of players playing in the Super Bowl. And that's one thing I've never really understood is, like, as a recruit in the player development end of things, you would think recruits would be like, that's where I want to go. They put guys in the league. They have a track record of improving people. And it seems like just as of late, we've had an uptick in recruiting, more 4-star guys, a higher ranked recruiting class. That doesn't always mean everything, but at the end of the day, when you look at the college football playoff, typically the teams that are there, the guys that usually have top 10 recruiting classes every year. So that's one thing I never really understood with recruits is, okay, if you want to make it to the NFL and you want to become better, why would you not want to play for Kirk Ferentz in the University of Iowa? What was it like playing for Kirk, Coach Parker? What was your relationship like with those guys?
It was awesome. They're both kind of like father figures. They're kind of the rock, every day, no matter what was going on in your life. And, being a dumb college student, you might think impressing a girl is the most important thing, or playing a video game or whatnot. But, every day you had to wake up and you go there, and they would just remind you, they were pillars of consistency. And, that's something that, people carry through with the rest of their lives. They go there, and that's what makes them great in the NFL. And that's what they really instilled with me, coming from a farm background and stuff. Dad had already kind of ingrained that in with me. We wake up, we work cows, and then we go to church, and then we'll go out to eat, and just routines, and once you get a routine engraved in you, it kind of sticks with you.
And I'm sure as a recruit, it's nice to know that there's going to be consistency there at the program. You don't have to worry about a coach getting fired and leaving every 3 to 4 years. You know that when you come to Iowa, you're going to have, for the most part, the same staff that recruited you the whole way through. That had to have been pretty reassuring.
Oh yeah, I mean it's a huge deal. I mean, you see people turning over all the time, and it just helps in tons. I mean, in great factors, and other people can see this. You show up to a place and 2 years ahead of you have been there for 2 years, and they're finally figuring it out and they know what they want, and then that person can teach you the coach's system, and it kind of just speeds everything up instead of everyone trying to figure it out all at the same year every time. So I mean, I think you see that, and you take Coach Ferench's great morals and stuff like that, and people are already learning those, and then they teach the younger kids right away, and they just get a jump start and get the program right on track.
One thing I had to ask you about, because it's probably one of the best I've ever seen, the mullet that you were rocking in school there for a while. What was the motivation, the inspiration behind that? And I mean, was it difficult just like keeping the girls off on campus with that mullet blowing the wind? Because I think that's a big responsibility, having a pretty sweet mullet like that.
Well, the mullet was actually not as much as a girl play as it was to distract from how slow and unathletic I was. So it just kind of make everyone distracted, and didn't really pick up a lot of people in my apartment with the 6 other dudes I lived with. I really wasn't a huge partier in college and stuff. I was more there to get to the NFL and do things like that. But I actually hate long hair, so it was a real pain to try to comb it and stuff. Hats off to all the girls in the world, because that's a real grind. You got to wake up and deal with that every morning.
Yeah,
I'm not a fan.
I'm not either. I don't have time for that. Plus, I don't have enough left that I can really do that anyway. So, I was on top of that too, just kind of off the beaten path type of things. I have to ask you about the hard-boiled eggs with the shell. Now, eating those, that was kind of a story. Is that something you did for a joke? Is that something you actually did? Is that something that you do anymore?
I mean, I still eat hard-boiled eggs and stuff. I mean, I'll eat the shell every once in a while just for whatever, just make sure I can still do it. But it initially started out just as a gag and party trick, and people would be thrown off and be like, what? Or, sit in the middle of a 200-person lecture and you throw in a raw egg and start eating it, or eat the orange peel off your thing, and everyone's kind of confused and get a little laugh out of it. So
that's
I guess
hilarious.
it was more just to psych people out, and I'm kind of a weirdo.
That's awesome, though. You should have seen like Dave Revson and those guys at Big Ten Media Days when they were talking about you doing that. They're like, this guy's a machine. He's eating hard-boiled eggs with the shell on. Like, if he's doing stuff like that, wait till you see him on the field. It was pretty funny. They were just like, wow, they were blown away. It was like a mythical type of deal.
Yeah.
So,
have you ate a raw egg with a shell?
I have not. I was actually going to talk to you before.
You should have brought one on.
I know. Do you got one available with you?
I don't know if I can throw it through the webcam, but you have to come out and visit and try one.
All right. I thought about calling you beforehand and being like, hey, should we try this egg thing before?
It makes a lot of people gag and throw up, so it adds a whole new thing to it.
Oh, it's a little funky. That's awesome. I was going to ask you, your wife, Callie, played basketball at Iowa, and from Minnesota.
I just beat her in one-on-one, so just state that for a record real quick.
Is she over there?
Yeah.
Hey, Callie.
I did. Dominate her in the paint, but whatever.
Did you? So, tell me a little bit about how you guys met.
Well, I was just out prowling on Instagram, looking through all the athletic girls at Iowa, looking to reproduce for a good spawn, and came across her, and I was like, well, I might as well send her a DM and send her a video of me spinning a football on my fingers, and she's all into tricks like that, and the rest was history. She fell in love with my charm.
It didn't take long then, just the video, and she was like, all right, that's my guy.
Yeah. She even paid for the first date, so she was real infatuated by me.
Well, that's when you know she's a keeper right there. Wow. That's awesome. Is Callie ever thought about, is she ever wanting to get back into coaching? I know she had a little bit of a short stint coaching after college. Is she wanting to ever coach basketball again, or is she focusing on teaching right now?
No, she'll definitely coach again. She'll get involved in something, and whether it's, college or, high school, she'll definitely be coaching again. We're just trying to get our feet in the ground and, get our roots in and figure out us. We just got married and try to know each other's goals and figure those out. And then once we get that all situated, we'll move forward. So, but
All
I
right.
mean, she's a great coach, and eventually she'll do great things in whatever she wants to do. So
Yeah.
that'll be exciting. But, it's a huge dedication, and, I always need her to drive an auger wagon and stuff like that. So
Got to stay available for all family farms,
Yep, exactly. Farm first, then do our own stuff.
Somebody's got to feed America. I mean, geez.
Exactly. And it's Callie. No one sees that coming.
I was going to, the other thing I wanted to ask you about too is and I think I might know the answer to this, but you could surprise me. But every year, who was that one team that you just were like, I want to get those guys. I want to beat them. You get a little more jacked for them, a little more fired up. You come out of the tunnel just ready to get after it. Who was that one team for you?
I mean, probably always Nebraska it would almost be like too much. I'd get too excited, so then I'd be tired because the adrenaline's just out of control, stuff like that. But I definitely always wanted to beat Nebraska, but I always wanted to beat everyone, and I always wanted to do my best. So I guess I really never had that extra hype for any game. I was pretty much focused for all of them. Never really had a problem with that. But, I definitely, when I came back on my 2 weeks in vacation, I did not want to have that loss to Nebraska. So
yeah,
hear all those people.
Well, it's living here as a diehard Hawkeye fan. It's like that's the one, obviously, I want the most, because it's a way more difficult place to live if you lose that game. So,
yeah,
but it's been good. We won 6 years in a row, and
it's not bad.
It's not looking like it's going to change anytime soon. So
no, I don't think so. If they're even going to have a team, I think everyone's going to transfer, from what I've been hearing around the neighborhood. So
there's been kind of a mass exodus of people just darting out of town. So there's something going on there, but you can't really, you don't really know what it is yet, and it'll eventually, that stuff always comes to the surface. But yeah, there's been kind of a mass exodus of talent leaving there, so that that's concerning. One guy I wanted to ask you about is, in practice and in the locker room, in the weight room, in the game, who is that one guy on the team that you kind of call like that dude, like the guy that's always pushing it to the next level, that's always setting the bar in the weight room in practice, that you really had to try to match his intensity?
I mean, starting out as younger, you usually value those people when you're younger. But, Brandon Sheriff, I mean, he always put me on the ground and beat me to a pulp. And then he was always the strongest guy ever. And, that guy was a freak. So, I mean, everything I did from freshman year to sophomore year until he left, I was just always trying to beat him up and get that one up on him. So he was definitely the guy that always brought it, and just a freak athlete.
I remember I watched him play in high school one game, and he looked like, from the stands, it looked like a 35-year-old guy out there playing with elementary school kids. I mean, he was just towered over everybody. It almost looked like it was boring for him, because he was 3 times as big as everyone else, and then he was faster to boot than a lot of the guys. It's like, this isn't even fair. So,
I'm sure I just looked like an annoying fly on film. He'd just come in, I'd come at him and he just swat me away. So he was quite the creature.
I think it was like that for probably everybody with him, but he's having a pretty strong NFL career, to say the least. And I would ask you about Nate Meier a little bit. It seemed like you guys, from a distance, had a good relationship, and he's seemed like he was kind of a wild dude, had the mullet at times too. What was it like playing with Nate?
I mean, Nate Meier to this day, still like the toughest guy I think I've ever seen. That guy would take Brandon Sheriff standing straight up right in the chin, not even phase him, and just bounce back 5 feet and try to hit him as hard as he could again. I tell Nate when I talk to him, he should be a UFC fighter, because I'm pretty sure he cannot be knocked out. I think his forehead's about 4 inches thick, and I mean, he's just tough. I mean, he was remarkable.
Is he back on the East Coast now? I thought he said like he was working for Yahoo or Google or something like that.
I'm pretty sure he's still living in Tabor, his hometown.
Is he? Okay.
Around there. I mean, he might be living out there. I know his girlfriend is from the East Coast, so he might have moved out there recently.
Okay. Yeah, I chatted with him briefly over the summer, and he said he was planning on moving out there, but he hadn't yet.
Okay.
So.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Okay. All right.
I can't imagine him leaving. He's more of a Midwest guy, so
yeah,
he might go out for a little bit, but I bet he'll be back pretty soon.
Okay. He seems like he's a pretty cool guy.
Oh yeah, he's a character.
So I want to know, what's it like, walking around Nebraska? I mean, I know the answer to this a little bit, but wearing your Hawkeye stuff throughout the state, do you get a lot of crap for it? A lot of comments from people that you run into?
A little bit, not too bad. I mean, there's been a couple times people point it out in bars and stuff like that, and they'll be whispering and stuff and wondering why I'm wearing it and stuff like that. Or we got Tiger Hawks on our semi trucks, so if we're got any of those out in the town, or people always ask why we got Tiger Hawks, and I think that's my dad's favorite thing, because then he can say I played at Iowa, so stuff like that. But it's a good conversation starter, because I mean, it is definitely not a Hawkeye state for sure. So there are not a lot of us around here.
We're going to take it over, Drew.
Yeah.
We got plans. We're on our way. You'd be surprised. Yeah. That's the whole reason why we kind of started Nebraska Hawks Nest, is there's quite a few Hawkeye fans out here. And, a lot of them, especially when they're out in rural Nebraska by themselves, they're like, okay, I'm out here all by myself. I don't have anybody to like talk to about Iowa football, Iowa basketball, wrestling, that kind of stuff. So it's fun to like be able to like create a forum for people to actually connect, do game watches together, hang out, and feel like, hey, there's some other Hawkeyes out here. Like I'm not the only one. So it's pretty cool.
Especially when people start realizing what Iowa is really all about, walk-ons and building up small town people and getting them going in the right direction. I mean, people really fall in love with that and stuff like that,
Yeah.
So it's the American dream in a football program. So you can't beat that.
Well, it's hard not to like it. I mean, they go after high character kids that are hardworking, that are leaders. We're not super focused on, hey, this guy's a 5-star, like we got to have him. It's like, is he a good kid? Did he, play other sports? How are his grades? It's just that kind of stuff. I mean, it pays off in the long run. So
yeah, for sure.
Wanted to ask you a little bit about some of the things that transpired this summer with, the athletic department, the football program, and a lot of the tension that was around the movement, and about the racial biases that certain players felt like that were happening with the football program, and wanted to see like what your thoughts were. You definitely were in the thick of the program for quite a while, and how you felt about that as a former player, seeing those kind of things transpire.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't really notice it when I was there at my time. And, what I saw was kind of like military style, or the Iowa way, and that's what they chose. They were the head coaches. And, it didn't matter no matter what you were or where you came from. They wanted you to do it the Iowa way. And, whether you liked it or not, you showed up. And if you weren't up to weight, they'd make you chug shakes, and I've seen everyone puke, every race, and everyone, they just wanted it done a certain way. And if you didn't do it that way, they were not going to be nice to you. I know there's a lot of people that quit that program, and it's tough. I mean, they're not nice to you because they want it done their way, and that's their formula they believe in, and it's very military style and dictatorship, because, they're the ones getting paid all the money, and they're the ones that make the decisions, and it reflects on them. So, I mean, they definitely don't care about your feelings or really your body. They need performance because that's their job, and that's the way I saw it. And that's kind of the way I still see it. And, they make a lot of successful people, and it's not always easy doing that.
Making it to the next level in the NFL is borderline impossible, but obviously it can be done, but it's almost like the equivalent to winning the lottery. I mean, being able to get to that level and then make a team and consistently be on the roster it's one of the most difficult tasks in sports to do.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, there's so many steps you got to go through, and then keeping your body healthy. I mean, that's priority number one. I mean, there's so many great athletes that just fell apart at the end, or maybe had a slip up or something like that, or never got the chance and gave up. And there's just a lot of different factors. Life happens. Everyone's got a sob story that they want you to hear or whatever, but it's kind of what you make out of it. And it takes a little luck, but most of it's hard work and determination, getting it done. So Iowa definitely puts you in that position to be able to get it done.
Well, like we said, it's a proven track record. You can't deny it. One other thing that I really wanted to find out what your thoughts were is the redshirt season that was denied from the NCAA. I can just tell you from Iowa fans, is seen as probably one of the biggest injustices done to a college athlete. I know the NCAA got raked over the coals on social media for the way that they handled that. And, a lot of people were very, very frustrated. But it really seems from an outsider perspective that the NCAA has softened up pretty drastically since then. And they came under a lot of heat for multiple cases of different, ways that they handled things over the years. But your case in particular, tell me about, your thoughts on how that went, the process of that, and how you felt when you found out that the red shirt was denied.
Yeah, I mean, they were pretty much just jerks. And I mean, I can't explain it to this day why they didn't give me the medical red shirt. People at higher positions apparently didn't want me to play football again. And there was really no reason for that, especially with what they're doing now. I mean, you could have a cough, sit out a game and get a medical red shirt, and it's just ridiculous now, but it all happens for a reason and things like that. And, I'll never understand that piece of bit of it, but, hopefully it did help some people, and hopefully that is why they're laxing up now and, give kids those chance to prove themselves and stay in a nice, healthy environment and get the rehab they deserve and stuff like that. So, I mean,
yeah,
hopefully something good came out of it.
I mean, there's good, I'm obviously bad in it, but the good thing is I can tell you that, that's the one thing that Hawkeye fans are always like, Drew Ott, man, that sucks. He got, kind of screwed in that whole thing. And it's very obvious that since then, there'd been multiple cases where it just seemed like the NCAA was not handling things in the best interest of the student athlete at all. And that's what they're there for. And so it's been interesting to see how lax they've gotten and how much they've been pushed to open up on that. And I mean, it's too bad that, you had to be one of the people to spark that change and, jump on their grenade for future athletes. But it definitely did. Tying into that, have you ever thought about, you're still really young, playing any more football? Or are you just like, hey, I'm focused on the farm, the family, building our life here? I know you got the emergence of leagues like the XFL that, there's a pipeline into the league now, arena football, anything like that. Have you ever given that a thought, or is that something where you're like, I've turned the page on that?
No, I mean, I tried to make it to the NFL for probably 2 years, 2.5, 3 years after college. But, at the end of the day, I couldn't get my body right and stuff like that. Knee still bothers me. And, I'm just kind of falling apart at the seams. I think, part of my unathleticism and just going crazy all the time, I was pretty hard on my body. And, if I could get it fixed, yeah, definitely. I'd play a game again, to get paid and stuff like that. I mean, there's always time to play a game. And so as soon as I get this body 100% fixed and feel comfortable and, I want to be at my best, I'd definitely give it a go again. But not saying that's going to happen, but it might.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Yeah. Never close the door on it.
Yeah, that's for sure. I mean, I just turned 27, so I'm not that old. I got till at least 30.
Yeah, even longer. I mean, you got guys like, I know it's a freak of nature, but you got Tom Brady in his early 40s still playing at the top of his game. So I mean,
well, I'm definitely going back as a quarterback. I'm not playing defensive end anymore.
All right, dual threat.
Yeah. I'm just going to be passing. There's no running. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So who is the best athlete in your house? You or Callie? Like, is there any debate on that ever?
Well, no, there's really no debate, and I think we'd agree on this. She's the fundamentalist. I'm the athlete, so I'll run circles around her. But in a game of pig or something, I think I beat her twice with like junk shots and stuff like that. But she's definitely the fundamentalist, and I'm decent at fundamentals too. But she's just so unathletic. It's terrible.
So you're going to be in trouble later if you keep that up. She has a heck of a 3-point shot, though. I think I saw she shot like about 45% from the field. Like, that's insane.
I'm always trying to put money on her and have people play her and peg in 3-point shots, but no one will ever take it. But yeah, she's lights out. So
all right.
For sure.
What type of things do you guys do out there for fun anymore? I mean, I know you're crazy busy, working your tail off on the farm, keeping things going. That's 2 full-time jobs in one right there. Do you guys ever find time to do anything fun, social, to get out of the house and let your beard down a little bit?
I mean, we went skiing this thing, we like to have a couple beers every once in a while and, have a sober driver drive us around and stuff like that, explore the pastures and whatnot. And we like to get a little rowdy on nights. So
all right.
Just stuff like that. We like to go to concerts and things like that.
What kind of music do you listen to?
Kelly likes terrible stuff. But she'll listen to like Red Dirt stuff with me, Turnpike Troubadours and Co Wetzel and things like that. So.
All right. Well, I want to thank you for taking time out of your schedule. I know you're a super busy guy, and being a farmer is one of the most important jobs in the country. And we can never thank farmers enough for what they do. So
A&F.
A&F, baby, all the way. Thanks for everything you do and everything you did for Iowa football, for the Hawkeyes, and thank you for taking time to sit with us on Nebraska Hawks Nest and catch up, man.
Yep, no problem.
All right, thanks a lot, Drew.
Yep, take it easy. Did he cancel me?